In the 1950s, Egypt's President Gamal Abdel Nasser launched a project to dam the mighty Nile at Aswan in order to generate electricity for the region, increase viable land, and reduce flooding. The construction would create a huge artificial lake behind the dam wall, requiring the resettlement of tens of thousands of indigenous Nubians from villages in the area and also threatening monuments. Pharaonic and Greco-Roman temples, including those of Abu Simbel, risked being submerged. What a technical feat it was. In 1960, UNESCO, the UN organization dedicated to the preservation of culture, launched an appeal to save the temples. Several projects were put on the table, but too costly. They were quickly put aside. Eventually, a Swedish-Egyptian proposal was selected. Work was launched on April 1, 1964, with the construction of a temporary dam to protect the site and the excavation of the cliff around the two temples. The Abu Simbel temples were cut into 1,035 blocks, each weighing between 20 and 30 tons. The 4 seated statues of Ramses II and 6 others of the king standing up were sawn into pieces. Jacks, cranes, and powerful winches hoisted the enormous stone weights to the top of a cliff measuring 210 feet from their original location. There the blocks were reassembled to reconstitute the two temples exactly as they were. Artificial hills were then created around the site as a protective barrier against the river. For 4 years, about 800 laborers and 100 technicians worked in the desert under a red-hot sun to complete the project, which cost an astounding $36 million. It was an international effort. At a ceremony on September 22, 1968, to mark the completion, UNESCO Director General Rene Mahou said it was the first time that we have seen the international cooperation in action on such a scale in the sphere of culture. It was an unparalleled undertaking in which over 50 countries have combined their efforts to save the artistic and historical treasures of the temples of Abu Simbel. The original site is today completely submerged by Lake Nasser. An operation, also part of UNESCO's Nubia campaign to save the temple complex on Philae Island around a dozen kilometers upstream from Aswan, started in 1972. Involving 40 archaeological missions from around the world, it ran for 8 years and cost more than $30 million. About 20 temples, statues, and monuments known as the Jewel of the Nile were dismantled and transported stone by stone to the nearby Agila Island on higher ground. UNESCO Director General Mdao Matar Mba praised the wealth of talent, energy, experience, and capital mobilized to save the Nubia monuments. Nowhere, perhaps, has the sacred art of Egypt defied time so majestically as in Nubia, part of which is vanishing before our eyes today, he said.